the visual I had as you were just kind of talking about mindset and the shifting market that we're in, both from an attraction perspective and from a sales perspective. I just was picturing, squirrels running all over the place, gathering their nuts, burying them, getting ready for the winter, as a lot of parts of the country head into winter. It's like, what does that look like for us as attractors? It's like, we got to be in a rush to build our pipeline, but also to be working on our skills. I think, as a squirrel gathers nuts, we need to be gathering our skills. That's one thing that can never be taken from you. So that's, in my opinion, the number one place you should be investing. I've been listening to a lot of Alex Hormozy, and he talks about the first place you should invest your money is in yourself, because that's the biggest way to get an ROI, like the highest ROI you can get. And then also it can be never be taken from you. And I find that the people I surround myself with and the people who are most successful, that's exactly what they did, is they invested in themselves first. Masterminds, coaching, courses. I have a course bookmark on my computer. You click it, it's like 25 courses. I'll admit some of them I never even opened, but I'm like, John, I impulse buy that kind of stuff because I know at some point I'll dig into it. And if I just get one little nugget out of a couple of the courses I buy, if I buy 10, I get all my money back. It happens every time. So good stuff, brother. I love it. So without further ado, we have Keeley Tase on the call, and I'm really excited to have Keeley on today. As John was talking about, like the victor mindset, Keeley came to mind because I know that through her attraction journey, she's just continued to plug away and overcome, and has come out victorious. And that's why we have her on the call today. You ready to rock, Keeley?
I am ready. Gosh, after John, I'm ready to go. Woo! I'm going to tune into this every week. This is something else. Thank you, John, for that.
Yeah,
good
John,
stuff.
That's every week. So
yeah,
come on. I was looking at the ranking report right before the call, and Keeley's in the top 10 in our group for FLAs. And I'm sure for total organization too. We'll have that out in a couple of days when corporate gets us the numbers. So Keeley is one that you want to watch, one that you want to learn from. She's spoken on many stages from all the different eXp events we did. I've seen Keeley speak plenty of times, and I'm always inspired by her perseverance and her faithfulness to the opportunity and to everything that she's doing. So Keeley, talk a little bit about where you're at in the world. What does your agent attraction business look like today, and your real estate business?
Yeah. Thank you, AJ. I'm flattered to be here. I'm honored to be on with you all. And I have to apologize because a couple of weeks ago, I was supposed to be on this call and I wasn't. And I have no excuses for that. I just have to say it wasn't on my calendar. So I apologize to you all as a group, because that's a big deal to me.
Well, I will acknowledge you. You were volunteering for, I think it was eXp Day, which was awesome.
It was. So I was glad that was at least what I was doing, but still no excuses. So it's great to be here. To be honest, I'm going to start with this, and not to be negative, but I will tell you that in the past little bit, at least the past year, I have been like this with revenue share. And I'll tell you, I believe it's the opportunity, the real estate opportunity of our lifetime. If you're in real estate, this is where to be, because you can't find this anywhere else. And when this was introduced to me, AJ, we've known each other 4.5 years. It was introduced to me 4.5 years ago. And, I was like, okay, I'll try this out. I can sell real estate anywhere. And, I wasn't really tied to my Keller Williams Market Center. And yeah, let's do it. If I would have known how my life would change in the lives of agents that I have brought over to my organization, if you would have told me that then, I wouldn't have believed you. I just wouldn't have believed you. So I know that my journey has been divinely inspired. It still is. It has not felt like it the last little bit. And I'll just be honest, when Keeley's spiritual life is not right, nothing's right. John mentioned this or alluded to it just a little bit ago, I believe, is that you know, when I'm in alignment in my spiritual life, everything else falls into place, right? There's a number one for me, and that's God. And I've got to, the good news is that I'm back. Everybody's in their correct position again. And I am ready to just change lives again, you know, and I believe this is divine intervention, because we're changing people's lives. And as corny as it sounds sometimes, that's why I do this. That's what gets me excited today. It's not about the money. That's nice. That's great. And I will also share with you, and AJ knows this, that a year into my eXp journey, I got a cancer diagnosis. It was January of 2019, came out of nowhere. And, you know, because of revenue share, and because I was able to attract a fair number of agents in my first year, you know, the timing was perfect. I was able to do my treatments and take some time off, because I was selling a ton of real estate at the time as well. But it enabled me to do that. I mean, where can you be where that's taken care of for you? So, you know, just for myself and my family to be able to relax and take that time was everything. I'll also tell you that, you know, I have agents that, with the stock and just some other things, just the support they get and the collaboration that we have in this company, their lives have been changed, their children's lives have been changed. So it's a movement. And I'm just really grateful to be a part of it. I am more focused right now probably on the retention piece for my group than growth. I think we've done a pretty good job of that. We have an office here in Charlotte, and you know, we've tried to create community there. We're creating culture, and have from, you know, the beginning, just creating it to be what we want it to be, and that's been fun. But we're really now, with the holidays here and stuff, we're really just kind of focused on the agents and honestly their production. This, you know, John said it, this is a huge opportunity that we have right now from both the production side, and just by digging in and being consistent, right? It's all about being consistent with our efforts. And on the revenue share side, you know, that's the first thing usually with brokerages that goes down, is their attraction efforts. They're not focused on attraction anymore. So let's get focused on attraction. And that is my plan here for the next, I'm going to hit it hard here for the next 60 to 90 days. But and I'm also very blessed in that I'm out of production. I've been out of production for about a year. Yeah. And it's felt really good to be able to just pour into my group. And, you know, I've traveled around the country with other agents that want to grow their organizations, and have been able to meet with people with them and do presentations. So it's a dream come true, guys. It's just, I'm so grateful. And, you know, my numbers aren't great. I'm pushing towards 1,000. I will get there in the next year. But, you know, again, it's John alluded to this. It's a journey. This is not a quick thing. It's about relationships. And I'm going to shut up, because I'll go on until 1 o'clock.
I was just letting you have your monologue, because it was awesome. So it's just good to hear your thoughts and hear you speak from your mind and heart. I love your story of, you know, you described what you went through with cancer and revenue share helping out, as it was perfect timing. And the revenue share certainly was perfect timing to help you get through that. And I want everyone to think, you know, it's like, we never know what we're going to go through personally, or what a loved one's going to go through, and to have the flexibility, not only from a financial perspective to get yourself through it, or a family member or a friend, but also the time. You know, if it happened to one of my loved ones, I can leave whatever I'm doing and spend 6 months to be by their side if I needed to. And that's a really powerful thing. I remember Rob Flick, and I'm sure you've heard this, Keeley. This was, back in the day, me and you are like OGs of eXp now, but Rob Flick would always talk about, because him and his wife had some health issues too. And he's like, you just don't know how much money you may need to get you and your loved ones through health issues. Like whatever you think it is, 10x it. And I think his wife's like brain surgery was like $1 million or something. It was like crazy how much they had to spend on healthcare. And fortunately, he has over 20,000 agents in his rev share organization. He's #1 in the company. So
yeah,
I want you to talk a little bit about, and John's got some questions, but I remember, I don't know if you remember, but I met you in South Charlotte. We met with that team, that living room. I don't remember her name, but then we hopped in the car, we drove out, and we went to Greenville, South Carolina, did a little road show, met with another team. That was a lot of fun. Talk a little bit on just the feeling, because back then when we did that little road show, you were selling, I think, 40 plus houses a year. You were actively building rev share. I mean, you were grinding, you were hitting it hard, and you were doing both. And what has allowed you to step away from production? That's John's question. So I guess, what was your mindset? What allowed you to? And then I just want to hear like the other side of it. Like, how does it feel to be out of production? So first, how did you actually decide to step away from production?
I'm going to shut my door real quick.
Okay. Those dogs barking in the background.
I'm so sorry. Okay, so I had a goal. I had a monthly goal, a monthly revenue goal number to meet, and I'll just tell you what it was. It was 30,000, and once I hit that number, I was going to be out of production. And I've been doing this a long time. So I've had my license for 26 years, something like that. So towards the end of it, I didn't love it. Right. And I gotta love, if I'm gonna really be passionate about something, I gotta love it. Like I am about what I'm doing now. So I was ready to get out of production and pass that on to a business partner of mine. Her name is Alyssa McDonald, and Alyssa and I have been friends, very close friends, for almost 20 years. So to have her in my life and to be able to step into the role of all my business. So I would and I continue today to refer her my business, and we've created a team called Platinum Property Group. We are a self-organized team of about 10. And, that was everything, because my clients, my business, I have been so blessed with referrals. And it's because I've been in this market so long, and because I've been doing it for so long, right? So I had that blessing, but to be able to know that, to be able to turn over dear friends to someone that I trust was everything. And she has just taken it and run with it and has done an incredible job. So that's what enabled me to really step out of production. And now I'm involved with the team, but not in a lead role or anything like that, but I'm involved in collaborating. So that's been fun. I don't know what else you asked me there.
Yeah, I was just thinking, as you're sharing how that evolved, of how you were able to essentially partner with her, and she takes your referrals now, and you have a self-organized team of 10. It's cool, because like, I feel sometimes we try to hold on to things or responsibilities, even though we may not be loving it, or it's just time for the next opportunity for you. Yeah. And that's a new opportunity for somebody else. Like, I always think about that, like, for real estate agents, it's like, you guys should not be doing your own lawn. You should not be cleaning your house. Like, you should hire all these things out. And it's blessing another person when you're able to just release some responsibility, get some time back in your life, and give that opportunity to somebody else. Because even if it is something as simple as house cleaning, it's like, it's a blessing for them, and it allows you to go on and serve more people, which is really neat. So the second part to my question was, like, how does it feel now after, I think you said 27 years of production, 24 years, something like that? Like, that's crazy. Wow, that's a long time in real estate. I was like,
off and on, not full time.
I was like, oh man, I got to figure a way out, get out of this. This is crazy. Yeah. How does it feel out of production?
It's amazing. I mean, what can I say? And again, if you would have told me 4 years ago that this is the position I'd be in, and that I'm in a position to pour into people that I love, people that I've built my organization with, I would have told you to go fly a kite. I mean, I just, it's unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, it's, I just never imagined that this is where I would be. This is where I would be, because it is a long time, and it is, yeah, I'm just grateful.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's like, Jeff Lewis just said, what other company has people coming out of production and still making a significant amount of income? Like, the answer is no
Nope.
other companies. Like, this
Nowhere.
is, this is groundbreaking. It's the reason why we're the fastest growing company in the history of real estate, because of the opportunity. So
That's right.
you got your local office in Charlotte to kind of just serve your local agents, build culture, focus on retention. John asked a good question. Can you describe, I guess, the office environment, size, setup? Is it just for your self-organized team, or do you let other agents that are part of your rev share group come in? What does that look
Great
like?
question. So myself and actually David Upchurch partnered to open this office really 4.5 years ago, when we both, I brought him over pretty soon after I started, and we decided that, and especially at the time, we heard more of people saying, I need an office, but I need an office. So we said, all right, here's your office. We got an office for you. And so we opened up this, it's really a pretty small space. It's, I don't know, 1,500 square feet. It's got a large, not large, but it's got a training room with big screens, and then it has a conference room, and then another private office. But we never wanted it to be a traditional real estate office. It's a landing pad, we call it. So if somebody wants to get away from home and just come and spend time, away from home, they can come there. There's a keypad, and I will invite any of you, if any of you are local and you're near South Charlotte, come on. We've opened it to everyone. There's a lot of what we call orphans in our area, people that are kind of feel like they're on islands with eXp, and I invite you to come and get involved with our group. We do training once a month. We're going to do a Friendsgiving next week. So I'm really big on, Kathy Burns knows that. You better come to Friendsgiving, Kathy Burns. So yeah, so it's, I have a lender pays for the majority of it, although they've cut back here recently. Like everybody, but that's how I fund it. And it's just been great. And it's been, since post-COVID, there are more people in this office on a daily basis than before COVID, which is kind of weird, but it's great collaboration, and it's the culture thing, right? It's the opportunity to build a culture together. We're building something of our own, and that's what's so special about it.
Yeah, that's great. What an amazing way to build culture locally. And I feel like so many times people get in, they're like, oh, I'm going to start calling in France, or I'm going to call into, Brazil and try to blow up those countries. Or it's like, oh man, I'm going to start calling to California to get agents. It's like, just start local, start building a local culture and let it expand, because you can't build a culture piece in a different state. It has to be local. And what a solid foundation you've been able to build with your group and all of our Charlotte people. Like, I mean, we were kind of pioneers in the company at the time, and now the Carolinas are one of the strongest, top 3, probably strongest regions in the entire company because of it. So the culture piece, like, how like would you say someone that is newer, maybe they don't have the means or the relationships to start an office, or the desire, because I'm sure you gotta manage it a little bit, hire cleaners and stuff to make sure it's tidy. What would be some other ways you could build culture locally? Because I think you've done a really nice job of that.
Thank you. I think just collaborating, we have so many resources to connect with each other. So many calls like this. So, you can get to, believe it or not, you can get to know people on Zoom calls that are on it every single week. You can chat with them, you can this or that. And I really, tell my agents that, reach out to each other, form accountability groups. I know that Joel Hargett, one of my agents, is very involved with connecting with other agents in the organization, and he has a group of men that meet, I think, once a week. There's 5 or 6 of them, and they're accountable to each other, and they're meeting on real estate, and I think they even have a piece of attraction that they meet about. But that, more than anything, just connecting with each other, and that's why I've opted to keep the office for now, because it is a place where we can all come to one place and meet new people. And those that have been there for a while, and we can inspire each other and motivate, where it's a little bit harder to do that otherwise.
Yeah, that's so good. And I know other options could be like restaurants, coffee shops. I know John meets at a coffee shop sometimes. Like a lot of coffee shops, like the Water Bean in Charlotte, they have like private meeting rooms. If everyone buys a coffee, you get it for free. Like your lenders will let you in. Like they love having agents come in their office. Like you just got to start small. One of our mentors
is your meeting. Yeah. Just meet, just get together.
It's crucial. Brendan Burchard, one of mine and John's mentors, said so many people are afraid of starting small, and I feel like people treat their real estate database, their sphere, like this, and then also the rev share groups. It's like, well, it's just me and the guy I got to sign up last week. Like, well, you should be meeting weekly, grab coffee, talk about how you're going to blow up your area, like get excited. Like that's how you start leading. And that's how we started. I remember going to Bill Price's house. It was like me, Rich, Bill, like Tom Hawker, and we're like at Bill's house, like calling agents for the next lunch and learn, and that was the first year of starting to grow this thing. It's fun, I miss those times. It's fun starting something new, the energy. So
well, yeah.
Let's shift gears a little bit. Real quick, say how many FLQAs do you have, and what's your total org size, in case anyone missed the graphic?
Yeah, so it is 28 is my FLQAs, and the total organization is 708. I just hit 700.
Congrats.
I've been hanging in the 6s for a long time. So I'm excited about that.
You need about 2 more Keeleys and you'll go to 5,000 in no time.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Is that it's so important. I mean, we can't do this all by ourselves, right? And this is why you do these calls. And I mean, just the system that John laid out, I mean, that's gold. I mean, everybody should be really, really practicing that. And that's how you grow an organization. It's not just one rock star. It's creating leaders and showing them, teaching them to do what you did, right? Because it's not rocket science. If I can do it, anybody on this call can do it. It's just going to take that commitment and that consistent effort, right? Yeah.
In case anyone missed it earlier, Keeley's goal to step out of production was $30K a month, and she has 700 agents, 28 FLQA. So just to kind of put that on your vision board. That was my initial goal, was to be making $30K a month, and then I was going to stop selling real estate too. I stopped selling real estate when I was making like $3,000 a month. So fortunately, this worked out, because otherwise, I'd be in a van down by the river, and I did that too, and so does John, and that's a pretty good lifestyle. So
you had a vision, AJ, and yeah, we're all grateful to you for stepping out and taking the risk that you did, and it's amazing.
Yeah, we're blessed. Yeah.
And that you're still pouring into us, so that's a big deal. Thank you.
Yeah, it's fun to chat with game changers and everyone, and give back. Let's wrap it up with this, Keeley. Talk for just a few minutes when 4.5 years ago, when you were just getting started, like what did it look like? Like maybe how many new calls were you making a week? Like how many people were on your initial list? Were you like, I just need to attack this thing like crazy? Or was it like, hey, a handful of agents reached out to me because they saw I made the switch? Like, I guess, what did it look like? What was your mindset? Because I think that will help a lot of people on the call as they're just getting started too.
Sure. It was really a combination of all that. I had a lot of good relationships. I was a team leader for Keller Williams, so I had some rich relationships, and obviously I reached out to those folks right away. I did have a lot of people, because I wasn't interested when Rich called me about this opportunity and started talking about revenue share. I said, Rich, don't talk to me about recruiting. I'm not interested. I'll take your stock for what I'm doing anyway and all this, but I'm not interested in recruiting. And but when I came over, I had people that started reaching out to me and saying, what are you doing? And so I thought, and then I saw the first couple of months what the revenue share was, and I said, well, maybe there's really something to this, and it feels like it's my own, and I'm not recruiting for someone else. And so I got into it, and I really, I had to start with relationships, and I'm still going through relationships. I'm still calling on people that I called on 4 years ago, and now they're saying yes. It's just what it takes, and the consistency and the follow-up is huge. And that's one thing that is one of my gifts, is that I am a serial follow-upper. And if I think you're a good fit for this company and that I can help change your life somehow from working like a dog in real estate for as many years as I have, I'm not giving up on you. An example with this, just real quick, is Robin Mann. So Robin Mann came over with me about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. Right before I had reached out to Robin, I met her at a Real Producer event, and I'd always wanted to meet her. But 2 weeks before that, she went on Facebook Live and told all eXp agents, stop calling me. I'm not going to eXp. Don't just stop. I mean, she did this on Facebook Live. So like I said, it was 2 weeks later, whatever, I met her. I said, Robin, gosh, you are such a superstar. And one thing that I didn't really get to talk a lot about, and if anybody wants to talk about it after the call, I'm open anytime to anybody. I am big into edification. And I just, because I really did respect her. And I just said, Robin, I respect you so much. You've done a great business. I'd love to pick your brain. That's a key one. I love to pick your brain. When someone says that to me, I'm like, really? You want to pick my brain? You're like honored, or I am. And then I go to coffee with him. But so we did that, and we set up a coffee, and she canceled, and we set it up and she canceled. And then I kept at it. We finally met, and I told her part of the us getting together was, we're not talking about eXp. I'm not going to bring it up. And so we sat across from each other. We're 10 minutes into the conversation, and she said, okay, tell me about eXp. And I said, no, I'm not talking about eXp. You didn't want to talk about it. So, it's just an example. And I guess the lesson here is that don't assume anything. Don't assume anything with anyone. She was over within a month or something. But it was on her terms, right? But I did have to do that initial work to get in front of her and to get her vulnerable, right? So that's really the point there, is just when you're starting in the beginning, just reach out to people, and it's just a conversation. Don't make it bigger than it has to be. Just have a conversation with them. And I could go on and on with ways to do that with cross-sale agents. Listen, if you aren't talking to cross-sale agents, I could do a whole other class on cross-sale agents. So it's, there's just so much opportunity. And yeah.
Everyone's thinking, let's schedule that class with cross-sale agents. Because I mean, that's like the no-brainer. It's
my gosh, but nobody's doing it.
Yeah, it's like getting the free stock. It's like, for doing what you're already doing, you get free stock. Well, if you say at the end or during the transaction, they're pleasant to work with, a little teaser about eXp,
no one's saying that.
Stroke your ego.
Nobody's saying, I would tell somebody halfway through, oh my gosh, I appreciate your professionalism so much. Yeah. You are awesome. And no one's telling them that. Yeah. And I meant it. I didn't say that to everybody that didn't deserve it. But the thing is, you earn the right by the end of that deal. You've gone through the trenches to have that conversation.
Yeah. Well, what a great time for recruiting, as agents are slowing down a little bit, because the market, They're doing less deals. Like they want to
Couldn't be
surround
better.
themselves with people who are excited, positive, optimistic, delivering training like this on mindset and how to get through these tough times that we'll be facing. And they're open and they have time. Like now is to hit the pavement harder than we ever have. A couple of things I just took away from those last 5 minutes of Keeley dropping fire was edify. If you don't know what edify means, it means to just brag on the person, like talk them up. So edify. And she said, Robin was someone I want to meet for a while. Like, so when you're building your list, like there should be people on it that you haven't met them yet, but you want to know them. You want to get in a relationship. Then you get strategic. You start showing up to events like Real Producers, the magazine, start to show up to like their little parties that they do, award ceremonies, local board events, things like that. And you start meeting these people who are on your list to establish those relationships. Cross sale agents, talk to every cross sale agent. And what a great affirmation. I'm a serial follow-upper. Like if you guys are struggling with follow-up, like make an affirmation around it. I'm amazing at lead follow-up. I'm a serial follow-upper because guys, you've all heard it before. Fortune's in the follow-up.
Fortunes in the follow-up.
Sales, real estate sales, and with attraction. So good stuff, Keeley. Let's definitely follow this up with a cross-sale clinic with Keeley at some point. We'll put that on the schedule probably here if you're open to it in the next few months. That would be awesome. I'm sure people get tons of value.
Absolutely. And I'm just gonna, I don't know if there's time, but I was gonna put my number in the chat. I'm always available for third-party calls, and especially around the KW model, since I was a team leader there. So take my number down, and if I can help you in any way, please let me know.
Yeah, that's great, Keeley. Thank you for doing that. Everyone copy that before we end the call. Copy, paste, screenshot, whatever you got to do. This was great stuff. I think today's call was really good, both from a tactical perspective and a mindset perspective. It's exactly what we need, actionable items in the shifting market and a strong mindset to take that action that we know we need to be taking. So appreciate you coming on, Keeley, and we will have you back soon. Great seeing you.
Thanks, y'all.